Hi, I'm Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and today I want to show you a baby chicken that I made. I want to show you how I made a baby chicken a few years ago.
I sound a little bit funny today because I am just recovering from the flu. I sure hope you guys didn't get it because it wasn't much fun. I started out by bending some wire so it would go from the front of the middle toe to the back of the hind toe, and then up and underneath the body of the chick, and then back down again. The one thing I would not do if I did this again would be to double up that back toe. You can see I bent it that way, and it ended up being too well, it's just a little bit too thick for an actual chick toe. The next thing I had to do was completely cover the steel wire that I was using with masking tape, because rust will come on through when it gets wet from the paper mache, and it'll go all the way through your paper mache and destroy the paint finish. If you use some aluminum wire, that wouldn't be a problem. Then I started padding the body and building up all the separate parts as I worked. The lower tummy was first because that's the part that fits right inside the wire that connects the two padded thighs. And then I added the chest and the neck and filled out some more on the back and just added the head and some wings. Since I was using aluminum foil for this part of it rather than crumpled paper, it was a lot easier to pinch off a bit of the front of the head to make a beak. If you use crumpled paper, you might want to use a piece of cardboard for the beak instead. All of the foil was completely covered with the masking tape because I'm using the paper mache clay recipe for this, and it won't stick to aluminum foil. Hardly anything will, actually. I went ahead and mixed up a batch of the paper mache clay recipe. I've got a link to it down below here underneath the video. And then I applied a very, very thin layer, as always, over the masking tape. I used a rather thick brush. I believe it was a stencil brush, and just kind of dabbed it over the clay in order to get kind of a feeling of bumpiness or down. I used a knife to make some tiny feathers at the very tip of the chick's wings, and then I took a ballpoint pen apart and I used the end of the ink tube to make the eyes perfectly round. And I used a knife in order to get the lines around the eye. You can see he's got a little bit of an eyebrow, some definition of the eyelids, both the upper and lower eyelids, and then he's got two little nostrils at the top of his beak. I went ahead and let the body and the head dry completely before I put any paper mache clay over the legs. And you see in this photograph how that back toe is way too thick. It's also just a little bit, in my opinion, it's a little bit easier to use paper strips and paste over really thin areas like wire. So you might want to actually use that over his legs and feet instead of paper mache clay. I think that's how I would do it if I did this again. And then I just went ahead and painted the little guy. It was very subtle because I had some baby chicks that I had purchased about that same time. You can see them in the background here on this photograph. I kind of stuck him in there just just for fun because I thought it would be kind of a fun little picture. He looks a lot like the one at the back. It's got a nice soft gray on his back, and the rest of his body is just a nice warm white. It's got yellow legs, although the other chick has pink legs. I would probably make it pink if I did it again, and make him a pink beak, black eyes, and it's all done. This was a really quick project, but it did take quite a lot of concentration simply because those legs had to be moved around so often to make him stand up just exactly the way I needed him to. It really helps to have that wire bent the way that I showed you so that it actually comes forward and the body sits on that kind of a saddle of the leg wire. That really does make a difference.
I hope you like that. Thanks for watching, and come visit me, UltimatePaperMache.com.